So in this video, I'm going to be upgrading my local workstation laptop from Ubuntu 25.10 to 26.04 LTS, which I've done a distro delves on, but I'm only now getting around to upgrading it. But it wouldn't be an Egee video without some sort of like crash or error right out of the gate. And when I click upgrade available to upgrade, it just errors out and says upgrade failed with the following output, which is nothing. So already we're off to a good start. As with all of my upgrade videos, whether it's Fedora or Ubuntu, I like to upgrade through a GUI, so that's Discover. Discover shows a whole bunch of apps needing updating, actual budget, Ardor, code, Pixelorama. These are actually all Flatpaks. Down below we have add-ons, which I'm not actually sure what those are, but application support, which are just like built packages, libraries and things, and then on the bottom we have system software. I'm not exactly sure why those are divided, but interestingly, that has nothing to do with the upgrade from 25.10 to 26.04 at all. These are just application upgrades. But I didn't actually know that when I was recording this, so I assumed that that was the system upgrade, so I hopped over to K-Info Center, and you can see it's Ubuntu Studio 25.10, KDE Plasma 6.4.5, KDE Framework 6.17, with Qt version 6.9.2. Kernel version 6.17, and I've got Wayland going on. Interestingly, in fast fetch, it says I'm running Kubuntu, which I am not. We've got 4,051 deb packages installed, 23 Flatpaks, and 36 snaps. We'll see how those compare once we do the full upgrade at the end. And then I also want to take a look at some of the Coreutils, and this is interesting because a lot of these are actually Rust. They aren't the GNU Coreutils that most other distros at this point use. Now, I don't want to get into the politics of using Rust for Coreutils, but it's an interesting experiment, we'll say. Seems that the Rust Coreutils is on 0.2.2, and the GNU Coreutils is 9.5. Not every Coreutils has been replaced with a Rust version, but the idea is that they're memory safe and just better, basically. Ubuntu is pretty unique in this regard because they're trying to switch as much as they can over to the Rust versions, and given the memory safety, it does seem like a good idea, but I'm just not too sure about what the end user benefits. We'll see if it pays off in the long run. But anyway, back in Discover, I updated all of my apps and stuff, but weirdly, it saved the system software updates, which Alloy, which is a Grafana project, it sends system data up to like Grafana or Prometheus, what have you. I'm not sure why it didn't bundle these in with the upgrade, because I said upgrade all, but I had to run it twice. But so I restarted and came back to the same old Ubuntu 25.10, which surprised me. Discover seemed unaware of the Ubuntu upgrade to 26.04, which I'm pretty sure I did this on Fedora and it worked fine. So Fedora's Discover is major version aware, but Ubuntu's is not somehow. In the new session, I clicked the Upgrade Available button, and it actually brought up the little dialog it was supposed to. Comes up with the release notes, which I skimmed over, and the Upgrade button did exactly what it needed to. So I chopped up this recording here because I wasn't sure if it was just going to abruptly restart and then kill OBS, and I wanted to capture as much of this as I can. But the distribution upgrade actually went flawlessly. There weren't any issues at all. We got some sub-dialogues saying that there's some foreign packages installed from PPAs and stuff, and that's OBS and Proton VPN. And once we get to the actual upgrade, it shows a list of packages that are going to be removed and added and upgraded. And it said it wasn't able to disable my screen lock, which is odd. The estimated time was all over the place. It was anywhere from a week to 24 hours to 6 minutes. They had no idea what was going on. And I have a pretty fast connection, so I don't really know how it was estimating. I'd say it took about a half hour to do the upgrade all around. There weren't any problems, any hitches, nothing. At the end it rebooted, I got back into my system, brought up K-Info Center, and the background changed to Galaxy or something. And now we're on Ubuntu Studio 26.04, KDE Plasma 6.6.5, KDE Framework 6.24.0, and Qt version 6.10.2, kernel version 7.0, and of course we're still on Wayland. Fast fetch still says we're on Ubuntu, though the version has changed, 26.04, Resolute Raccoon. Now when I opened Discover, it actually got stuck trying to refresh snaps. And I went to the terminal and I searched for snaps and I tried to install snaps and everything was fine, so this appears to be a Discover problem. Now for the system utils, there was an interesting version bump. We went from 0.2.2 on 25.10 to 0.8.0. That's the Rust version of Coreutils, but the GNU utils went from 9.5 to 9.7. So version bumps all around, and the Rust version's got really big version bumps. Kind of interesting.
And that's pretty much all I have to say about the upgrade process. It was really straightforward. I'm still not really sure what the initial, that kdead notification error at the beginning, but whatever it was transient. It worked fine the second time. There have been a couple snags in my workflow here and there, like some default apps changed. Kdenlive got an upgrade and it changed the way the docking windows work. And I'm used to setting up a layout and then closing it and then reopening it, having my layout back, but that changed, and I'm actually editing this on the previous version of Kdenlive. You can get it as an app image, but it actually kind of got me thinking about when you have software that you rely on, like, Audacity is one of them too. Sometimes there's going to be breaking changes between versions. And it's not really any different than like DaVinci Resolve upgrading or Lightworks upgrading, but being forced onto the next upgrade is kind of what makes it tricky. The game I'm playing in the background is Project Warlock 2, and it's Yurid's story. This is the final boss, and this game is really fun. It's like a typical Doom clone boomer shooter, but it's got some really unique effects to it. And it's also really hard and really gory. And it's a game I highly recommend if you like this sort of stuff. So yeah, this was my journey in upgrading Ubuntu 25.10 to 26.04 Resolute Raccoon. That's about all I have. Thanks for watching, and so long.